Hello, everyone, I'm not really doing an intro. I thought I'd do this because I think it might be fun. And to be honest, it's a question that's been playing on my mind quite a bit. You see, over the years, I've been talking about religion with my friends and people I know. And the two figures that I guess are most iconic with a few religions. Bear in mind, I'm not a religious person, so try and take that into account when you're hearing this. What is the point between God and Satan, or Lucifer, or Diablo, whichever way you want to call him? My point is this: God is seen as all knowing, all powerful, all seeing, basically the creator of everything. And Lucifer is known as he who is evil, corrupted, the one who is, I guess you could say, the anti-God, which would sort of link in with Jesus and the Antichrist. Bear in mind, I'm not taking into religious. I know these are religious figures and everything, but I'm not taking that into account. I'm on about the figures themselves. Let's just let's focus on two right now. Let's focus on God and Satan. Satan, or as he was originally known as Lucifer, was the first angel. And not only that, he was the most powerful, most regal, and believe it or not, the most beautiful of the angels. This guy was pretty much God's first son, and I'm not saying that because God had him with a woman, which I don't even know. Anyway, God created the angels, and it depends really, because I've seen a few interpretations of this, but for most, Lucifer is the only one with free will, and the rest of them don't have free will. They obey. They obey without question. So when God created the first humans, aka Adam and Eve, and he ordered the angels to bow down to them, only Lucifer was the one who refused. Now, this is rather confusing to me. Why would God create one angel that would that why would God create the angels and only give one of them free will? See, this is when it starts getting confusing for me, because all humans have free will, and he's seen what it does. And because he's meant to be all seeing and all knowing, surely he would have known what would happen giving an angel free will and then telling them to bow down to a human, which in Lucifer's eyes is an inferior race. So surely he would know Lucifer would rebel, and this would result in him being cast down to hell. But if that's true, then God himself is responsible for creating the greatest evil ever known. But then again, let's explore that a little more. Like, I've asked my friends who are religious, and one of my main questions is, if God is more powerful than the devil, then why is there this conflict between the two that's still going on? Why doesn't God just deal with him straight away? And my point is this: he can't. Why? Fairly simple. It's because if he did, everything would be thrown out of whack. Consider balance, right? And I don't mean balance as in weight, I mean balance as in the balance between good and evil. It's a very old concept, but it works. You have light, aka God, and you have darkness, aka the devil. And these two are always vying, always fighting against each other. And yet, they need each other, because a world cannot survive on light alone, and neither can it survive on dark alone. It needs the two of them to contrast each other. It needs the balance. Good and evil need each other. They're two sides of the same coin. And in this point, I could mention Jesus and the Antichrist, because the Antichrist is just what he is. He's the anti-version of Jesus. He's the anti-Jesus. So, because of the 7-year war that's supposed to happen after the first stage of the rapture, this is basically two halves of the same coin going up against each other, or light and dark. But if that's true, then, correct me if I'm wrong, they would be even, because the Antichrist is the anti-version of Jesus. So it would basically be like Jesus punching a mirror. He'd be punching himself, the opposite version of himself. So if you consider them magnets, think of magnets, you have opposites attract, right? Good seems to attract evil, and evil seems to attract good. That's how it works. So if good and evil clash, as they should do in the rapture, then by logic, both of them should die. And then what? What would happen then? They're both dead. And this is, I guess another way to explain it would be the yin-yang. I'm assuming everyone's already aware of what yin-yang is. But for those of you that aren't, yin-yang is basically an old symbol from Asia. And it has two halves, one white half with a black circle and one black half with a white circle. And it's meant to represent balance. Bear in mind, I'm not a religious person, so citation needed on all of this. But I do my research, and my memory is going, so bear with me, please. But from what I remember, and what I hope is right, yin-yang is meant to represent the inner peace, the inner self. You have your light half and your dark half. No matter who it is, you could be the holiest of people, you will have a dark side. And you could be the most evil of people, and you will have a light side. That's basically the point. There can be no good without evil, and there can be no evil without good. So, in my theory, and this is only my theory, like, I don't know if you'll agree with this or not, but this is just mine. God and Satan are in fact equal. Satan is no stronger than God, and God is no stronger than Satan. And I know I'm probably offending quite a lot of religious people here, but that's just how it is. If you put logic into religion, that's how it is. God allowed Satan to infect man with sin. And that's just how it is. God allowed Satan to become his equal. Why? I don't know. Maybe God was bored. Maybe God was bored and he decided the universe needed something to balance it out because he was too bored. I don't know. I'm not a religious person. I don't know what the guy was thinking. But just in case, I do own a Bible, and yes, I am reading it. And right now it confuses me, but I'm sticking with it. I intend to read that shit. But, yeah, in my mind, God and Satan aren't vying against each other. Well, they are. They're vying against each other. They're fighting each other, but they need each other as much as anything. They hate each other and they need each other. It's a love-hate relationship. And that's basically how it is. That's like the perfect interpretation of light and darkness. You've got the light, aka God, and you've got the darkness, who is Satan. Light and darkness, that's how it is, and no amount of whatever you say is going to change that, because that's just how it is. Logic. Put logic into religion and you've got that. So, no matter whether you want a world of evil or a world of good, you're not getting either. Because take away one, and you've got yourself one messed up world. No, worse than that, you've got yourself one messed up creation. And this is only for the creationists around there, and I'm an open-minded guy, so I have considered it. God created humans in his own image, right? Consider this. Lucifer was the archangel, right? He was the head angel. I'm not too sure whether it would be the archangel or the angel of death. He was one of them. And he rebelled against God, much like a child would rebel against... Actually, now that I think about it, that's a perfect point, because God created... Going back to the father point I made quite a while back, God is in a sense the father of Lucifer, who is Satan's original name. And he's also the father of Adam. Think about it like if you were a kid. You've got God, who's the father, don't know who the mother is, and you've got Lucifer, the kid. Then you bring a baby into that family, and you start paying more attention to the baby than you will the kid. The kid's gonna start rebelling. So when God told Lucifer to bow his knee to Adam, he refused. He was a kid rebelling against the father he thought he was neglecting him, and the father in this case responded by pretty much kicking him out of his home. Now that I think about it, now that I've said that, is there any real doubt why Satan became as he is? He's rebelling against his father, who not only neglected him in his eyes, he also kicked him out of his home. Huh. Here I thought I was just speaking garbage. Anyway, guys, this is, okay, first off, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with this. This is going in my vlogs playlist, but if you guys want to hear my opinions on more other things like mythology, politics, blah blah blah, I'll try and give you my honest opinions, and this is my honest opinion, and it's just my opinion. I'm not trying to offend religious people, I'm not trying to offend anything, and I apologize if I have. This is just my personal opinion. So, I'm going to post this on my vlog series. And I want to know, from the people who view this and the people who hear this, if they would like to hear my opinion on more topics about what it actually means and what my opinion is on them. Because I do the research, and even though my memory is going, I do try and convey that in what I say. But I feel like I've taken up most of your time. I know I'm on 12 minutes right now. Bear in mind, I suffer from I suffer from verbal diarrhea, which means usually I will keep talking and talking and talking. But I don't want to waste your time. So, that's basically my opinion on Satan versus God. I might come back to this in a later episode after I've done some more research, because my research is not yet complete. So this is just my opinion based on what I remember. But I will come back to this after my opinion on my research. And just to tell you how much research I've got the New Testament, I've got the Old Testament, and I've got the Satanic Bible. That is how much research I am doing. I am reading all 3 of those books. So yeah. So this has been Oni of Taint. This has been my personal opinion on God and Satan. I don't believe they're enemies. I believe they're more like family. They need each other, even if they refuse to admit it. So, until next time, this has been Oni of Taint, and please keep an open mind out there. Okay? To all Insanians out there, to my friends, and anyone who's listening to my rubbish, sayonara.